Hello and welcome to our 7th webinar series. Today we have internal webinar wherein we're going to talk about the product effort. So far we've been talking about a lot of topics that primarily circle around no code, how the world perceives it. We had some experts come and speak to us. How is the partner engagement happening from a no-code perspective? How are partners adopting to it? How are different industry verticals looking at it? So today, what we're going to do is that initially in our first webinars, we spoke about our 10-year journey, how the product has evolved, and where we are today. Now we will delve a little more deeper into the product in terms of what are new features that come with the product. As a product company, we constantly evolve. We bring out new features that basically help our customers. The whole exercise is based on the roadmap that we have for the product, and also with a lot of feedback that comes in from our customers, from their day-to-day operations, kind of challenges that they face, or some features that could make their life much more easier and simpler. The benefit of the no-code platform is that you can quickly build these and deploy them. My name is Joseph. As we met before, I had sales at Spose Technologies. With me, I have my colleague Hassan, who leads our pre-sales engine, and today he will be taking us through a few of the features that we would like to talk about today. Hassan, welcome to the call.
Thank you, Joseph. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be on the call here today again.
Fantastic. So, Hassan, quickly jumping into the discussion, right? Today, we will try and keep the discussion very, very practical in terms of showing our viewers, what are some of the key features that we like to talk about and how they functionally, how they help, customers. So one of the key features that, has caught my attention in the past is the, alarm-based invitations that we do for, one of our key clients, and then, how this could basically play a role, with many other customers, right? So, why don't you take us through that particular feature? What is alarm-based invitations, and, where do you think this as a feature could help a lot of our customers today?
Thanks, Joseph. That's a very interesting feature that you spoke about, right? See, alarm-based invitation is a feature that is basically or could be generalized as an emergency response, right? Now, this feature helps in two ways. First, it alerts the executives stating that there is something that is assigned to them and has to be worked on, which is very sensitive as well. And the second is the responses are even faster, right? Because of this, the customers at the end are really happy with the services that are being provided to them, right? So this is the benefits that this features could provide, right? Now, the best thing about this is just to enable this feature, you don't have to do a lot of navigations, right? It's just enabling a checkbox, and that feature is, it's available with you. Now, to show you on the product, this is how we have planned. So first, we'll see how would it be if this feature is not available, right? How would how this service would actually look like, right? Now, I'm going to present my screen here quickly. And yeah. Hope my screen is visible.
Yeah, now it is.
Perfect, great. So let's say, for an emergency response scenario, right, where let's say one of us is traveling to a location, it's around 3 to 4 hours drive, right, and suddenly you're with your family, you're having fun, and suddenly your car breaks down in the middle of the road, right, and you have no absolute idea what to be done. Right? What are the other things that you would do? Probably give a call to a call center person, or you would actually look for something online, right? Now, in such scenarios, let's say one of the customer is actually on the field right now and is facing such scenario. What he does is he picks up the call. He calls the call center of that particular of that particular car manufacturer and says that there is certain issue that has happened, right, I would need a technician to come to me as soon as possible, right? So what I do as a call center person is I log in into the Effort platform here, which it welcomes me with these page cards. I click on the web application over here, and then I go to the navigation bar, and I have something called as roadside assistance that's available here. Now, during these entire navigation, I'll also have conversation with the customer as to what is his registration number and all of that, right? So I click on add work here, which is I'm going to add a new service ticket, so that the problem gets logged, and it gets assigned to the technician. And so what I do is I type in the vehicle registration number. It shows me the customer name and all the details over here. I enter the city that he is in, and one of the key things that happens for the service to be very accurate is where the technicians or anyone who is going to give the service reaches at the right location rather than disturbing the customer on the navigations, right? So we have where we can send across an email, a link to via an email or a phone number to the customers. Let's say for now, I'm just putting in my email here, where you can capture your where the customer can capture their exact location, right? So once I've sent this, they will receive the email notification. If you see here, I've received the notification. I simply go to my mailbox. I get an email, please update your location. I click on this link here. It automatically captures where I am, and I send my location from here, right? Which also automatically gets updated in the current location. If you see, the lat longs are now automatically updated. In the meantime, I also ask the customer what is the exact issue. Is the car starting, or does it make any noise? So he says it's not starting. So I simply enter the keyword here. So it helps me with the recommendations, and and he says that he's with family, and that is it, right? Now, what happens is as soon as I create this ticket, it gets allocated to the nearest technician, right? Now, if there is no alarm involved in this, let's see how fast it takes for a technician to respond, right? Now, this is the mobile application. It's currently locked, right? And if I go back to the screen here, this is one of the this is one of the ticket that is just logged. I can click on the eye, I can view this. Now, when I view it, it will also tell me if the invitation is sent, right? So I'm just going to refresh this again here. So we'll see.
So while that while we get that notification, the whole form that you just showed, right, where you were entering a lot of data, that form can be customized, right?
Absolutely. All the fields.
Yeah. So based on the business need, that form can be customized. I saw that there were a lot of fields. I understand that from a roadside assistance, maybe you need so much information, but then if this was, let's say, to raise a request for equipment to be fixed immediately, then maybe possibly you don't need the so many fields. And if you were doing the installation as well, would it be possible for you to just scan the QR code on the device and then those details get captured? Somebody does not have to fill, right? So I'm presuming that those capabilities are there on the platform.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right, Joseph. So the entire screen that we were filling the details is configurable, right? Now, from business to business, it might change because the data capture points will be different for every company. So you can have it. You can be very flexible with what you would want to show and all of those details. Right now, if you see here, the invitation is already triggered, right? But there's no alarm. So as an executive on the field, as a technician, how do I know that there is something assigned to me? I may be eating, right? I may be just sleeping or just taking a nap, or I'm just talking with my friends. How do I know it is assigned to me? And if you look at my mobile application, just to show you, right? So this is our application, which is Effort NXT, which is available on the App Play Store as well as on the App Store, right? It automatically gets synced, and it shows me that there is something that I have to perform. But this is only when I open the application, which could be anytime, right? This basically shows that the response time and the alertness is missing here. Now, if it takes, as a technician, if I'm doing my job, something that I'm eating or I'm taking a nap, it could actually delay the service, right? If you see now, it shows me there's something here. I click on it and then I accept the invitation.
Are you
now,
showing me with the mobile app? The mobile app is not come up yet.
Okay, let me just represent. Yeah, let me just represent my screen again. Screen, yeah. Yeah, can you see the mobile application right now?
Yeah, now it has come up. Yes.
All right, Perfect. So if you see, it shows that there is work invitation pending for me, but this will only happen when I open the application. I see that there's a notification for me, right? Now, this could be after 10 minutes of the service being raised, could be after 30 minutes of the service being raised. Now, at that moment, right, the customer is actually on the field waiting for someone to reach there, and it's more than 30 minutes, right? Now, by the time I click on this, I click on accept, I see that, okay, it has been raised, I click on accept, and then I start working on it. I call the customer, and the customer says, I'm canceling it because there is a local help that I've taken. So all I have to do is I have to click on customer cancelled, and I put the reason here that, the customer arranged local towing, and I continue. Now, this is where I complete the process, but the business has faced a challenge that the customer's service is not met on time, right? And I simply save this. Now, how do we actually erase this or eliminate this challenge? It's pretty easy, right? So what I do is I go to the application here, and I'm going to switch to something called as an app builder. Now, entire power of DIY lies into this particular module. I click on this, I go to that particular process, which is the roadside assistance process, and I scroll down. There is a settings option. Now, the settings is related specifically for this particular process here. I scroll down, and there is a checkbox which says a work invitation alarm. All I have to do is enable the checkbox, set the timer on how much time it should be ringing on the mobile application, and I just have to save it. That's all, right? Now, what I do,
existing process, you have made this change.
Exactly. So you don't have to again rebuild the process, right? So changes can happen just like that. So let's take the scenario again, where again the customer calls me and I'm going to lodge a ticket here. So I'm going here, I go to the roadside assistance and I click on add work here. Again, we follow the same steps, right? I ask the customer, what is your registration number? The customer says it's TS116956. It shows the name and the mobile number. He says he's currently in Hyderabad, or I can also, just take his his direct location as well. So I simply type in his email and phone number. It sends out a notification for that. I ask him, like, what is the problem you're facing? He says, I'm not able to start the engine, right? So I go back again here and I'm just going to, so there's another email that I have received. I click on this particular link and I capture, as a customer, I capture my location here. Now, as a call center person, I see that location being updated here, similar to, family being involved is with family, right? Now, looking at the mobile application here, I'm just going to go back and I'm going to lock a mobile application, right? Lock my mobile basically. Now, it's probably the same scenario where probably as a technician, I'm taking a nap or anything of that. So I click on save here, creating this ticket. Right? It again creates a ticket, giving me a reference ID. I can also look into this ticket and check if if there was any possible technicians who were actually nearby, because there's a certain possibility that there's no one nearby, and I can do the reassignment as well, right? So those flexibilities can also be done if there are exceptional cases as well. Now, if I just simply refresh the screen here again, right? So it still shows that it is searching for one of the employees that is nearby. So it's still into trigger position. So just refreshing it again. Yeah, so if you see here, the invitation expires. It now shows that there is an invitation that has come in, right? So we will see that being triggering the alarm over here on the mobile application. Now, you see there is a ring that is going on in the background, right? Now, it actually, if I click on this, it appears on the lock screen. So I don't have to go into the app and look at it. It automatically appears to me on the lock screen and it asks me to accept or reject it. Please ignore the sound at the background. What I do is I click on the accept button over here. It automatically accepts. So if you see on the top here, the mobile is on silent, right? It doesn't matter if the mobile is on silent or if the volume is low. It is an emergency response that has to be done. It overrides these settings and it triggers the alarm right away.
Fantastic.
Right? So as a technician, it becomes obligatory for me to open up the app and do something about it, right? And when I look at that particular job for me, and I know that it is being assigned to me because I'm near that location, and I'm also willing to accept it. Now, once I accept it, I click on this. I can call the customer that I'm actually accepted it. Now, every time I perform an activity here, let's say I say that I'm out for service, the customer gets notified about that I'm actually out for service. So it also calms the customer that there is the help coming on the way. Right? I click on raise, the customer will also know, okay, he's nearby here. He looks around, he says that, okay, the technician is there. As a technician, based on my skill set, I try to fix it and I click on resolved over here. I enter what was the actual problem, because there is something that the customer said that it was not starting, but there could be some other problem that I've actually come through. I select that, I enter the odometer reading of the vehicle over here. I scroll down, and then if they ask me if I've taken any charges from the customer, if on what I've visited, is it a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, right? I can simply select that, click on continue. As a technician, I save it. My entire service ticket gets completed here. So if you see, initially, before the alarm was not there, it took around, it could take around forever for me to actually look at that particular service ticket, right? But if there is an alarm involved and alertness involved in that, no matter what I do, I get notified about it.
So would it be possible for us to integrate this with the customer's existing CRM? Now, I saw that in the last part, you just fed in some information. Of course, I saw there was a drop down, something like wherein you selected if it's a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler, right? So would it have been possible for us to integrate with the customer CRM? So once the customer details are given, you know what vehicle it is and so on and so forth. Is that
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you can. So most of these companies who have a master data available of customer, they would not like to expose it to any third-party system, even though we are performing services for them, right? Because those informations are very sensitive and cannot be. So there is a legal agreement that they have with the customers to not have it exposed. So in those scenarios, also we can have the API integration done, where based on a unique parameter, we can fetch out all the details of that customer and remains only for that particular ticket.
Fantastic. Great. I think this is a great functionality. While the example was for roadside assistance, I think it can pan across multiple, industries where we are talking about service ticketing, where especially where there are emergency services, especially when SLAs are, signed, where, you are saying that, there will be a 2 hour or a 4 hour response or resolution. I think a platform like this can really help, especially with the fact that you are able to make changes to your configuration midway through, right? Depending on so let's say a customer has signed up with me for same business day or next business day support, and then over a period of time, if he wants to move that up, right, I can quickly make those changes in my application without actually writing a single line of code. Great example.
Also, just to add what you have mentioned, Joseph, industries like where firefighting involves, right, or where there are hospitals involved. Now, it is as easy as the customer who is in emergency can simply scan a QR code, says that I'm in this location, right, and the nearest hospital of that particular branch that is actually looking for can get notified about this as well. Again, the alarm invitation can take place in that. Even for firefighters, because again, that's an emergency response. Even for any accidents that have happened on the road, to get it, informed to the nearest police departments. Now, there will be integrations involved, but all these use cases, all these industries have one thing in common, that the emergency response should be very quick.
Correct. So today, a lot of it happens digitally and manually, or I'll say semi-digitally, where somebody can raise a request, but then there is a manual lookout for who's the person who's available. Probably you look at a chart, you look at a list, and then you call the person. But in this case, I think we are improving it slightly more better, where you're directly reaching. We're using technology to understand who's the person, who's the closest, how busy is he for that day, is he already loaded with too many activities, and then assigning it to the right person, right? I think it's a fantastic feature. It cuts down a lot of manual activity. It improves response time tremendously. So I'm presuming so in your experience of you having deployed this with a customer, what is the average response time that you have seen?
2 seconds. Initially,
2 seconds.
Yes. So initially, the customer was very paranoid, and they wanted to check for 4 minutes, right? But then they actually check the average time is between 2 seconds to 30 seconds, because as soon as it rings, the alarm. Okay, by the way, it's for the technicians,
loud,
but
yes.
But it actually makes them do the job. Right, so they have to react. Either they reject or accept. No matter what, they have to react to that.
Some call to action is there.
Exactly. And
Right.
now, after a certain observation of this particular response over a 6 months to 8 months period, they have reduced it to 2 minutes because they know keeping it for 4 minutes does not now make sense, right? Because now 2 minutes is what it has come down to. 2 minutes, exactly.
Correct. So, I have personally experienced this where, something would have broken down at home, and then you call for support, and then there is a standard answer that I get that you're not able to reach the engineer, or all the engineers are busy. Today, they might not be able to come. So, possibly the person on the other side is also just calling the engineer, and then he has the luxury of not answering his call because he was already attending to a customer. But I guess in this case, some response has to go. It can be positive, it can be negative. But I think it's a great feature that's been added to the platform. Moving on, another key concern or key area where we talk, especially from a process, is approvals. Right today, every organization has an internal process. Every activity goes through multiple sets of approvals, and then uh, especially for somebody who's at a very high level, who's doing a lot of approvals, there could be multiple approvals that come in, and then if somebody just has to do approvals, they could possibly take away a good chunk of your time for the day, right? And we all are bound by SLAs or turnaround times for a certain activity to come in. One feature that I would like you to talk about are, how can we resolve the challenge of, going approval by approval, right? So, like I might have 100 people reporting to me, and then a few hundred more reporting to each of them. So every approval possibly, or certain levels of approvals come to me, and they could be in hundreds. So in a day, I cannot. I mean, I could possibly employ somebody who is doing my approvals, but then if I were to do it, because if I would want to know what exactly is happening, what could be the best way? I mean, going by every approval may not be the most best way to do it, because like I said, it could take away a lot of my time. So given that all validations are done, if it's just an approval that has to go, what could be the best methods, and what improvements have we brought on the platform?
Perfect. So, see, what happens is when there is a small scale, a very small, low forms that are being submitted, it's very easy to look at it. Let's say there are 2 or 3 forms. It's one form that's being submitted. You look at it, you approve, or let's say you have time for the day, but let's be honest. Like nobody has time for the day when they're actually working, right? They have a lot of activities that they're actually involved in. Right now, in such scenarios, uh, we have introduced something called as a bulk approval. Right now, let's say there are a lot of expense forms that are being submitted, and at the end of the month, due to the busyness of the entire process, right, they're not able to approve all of them. But just because the employees are looking for it, they have reimbursed these expenses. Right now, again, it still shows that there is approval that has to be done because it is a process that you have to follow. Right now, as an executive, if you see my mobile application here, again, taking the same scenario, right? Or if I'm on the field, I might actually go and have my expenses done for the day. So I can simply click on an expense form here. Let's say I'm just going and submitting an approval here. I'm submitting an expense form. I click on add expense type. I select, let's say, food. I'm just selecting one part of it here. Let's say it's 500, and I save it for approval. Right now, let's say this has happened over the entire month. Right at the end of the month, the reimbursements are supposed to happen. Right now, let's say the reimbursements have happened because the approvals have taken time. Since there are 100 200 approvals, what the business has done is they've actually done the reimbursements for this, looking at the file that they have downloaded before approval. Right now, the approval has to happen anyways because it piles up the data. Now all I have to do is, now if you see the existing expense that is available over here, right, if I go to the home screen here, it shows me on the action item. So it's the shortcut that I have. I click on expense forms here. It says that these are the approvals that is pending for me to be taken, right? If I have to approve this, I have to click on each, click on it, read the entire details, then click on approve and then approve it, which is a time consuming process, right? All I have to do is, again, as I mentioned, the app builder is the power of DIY. I go to the app builder here. I select that particular form here. I can search for the expense form that I've created. And I've scrolled down. There is a place where I've actually assigned an approval flow. I just have to enable the bulk approvals, right? I click on save and I save it here. That's all. I come back to this screen. I'm just going back to the same screen here. If you see, the approve or reject is now available for me. All I have to do is just click on this checkbox. It checks all the submissions that have been done. I click on approve and I mark this as approved over here and I click on approve. That's all. All my forms are now approved, right? It says that 5 submissions got approved as well, right? And all the approvals have been cleaned from my tree. So if you see, if you actually look at each and every submission you would want to do, it could take around 30, 45 minutes that you would want to do. With the bulk approval, it's just 2 minutes or 3 minutes of time. You simply check, select, and approve. That's all.
So this is considering that all those requests that have come have proper validations in place, and it's just an approval that has come from my side. That is taken care of. Right? Somebody does not have to go through each approval and then go forward and approve it. So it absolutely saves you a lot of time. I think that's also another great feature that we have today. So all our customers who've been doing approvals one-on-one today, can definitely make use of this. So all customers who've already on the platform and then do not know about this feature, they can just go make these changes. Is my understanding right?
Exactly.
Fantastic. We've been talking a lot about optical character read as a product and as a feature. Would you like to speak to us about that? Take us through what it is and how does it help customers?
Yes, absolutely. So the optical character read is one of the very key feature that helps elimination of entering manual data. Right now, when I say entering manual data, when you look into these government IDs like Aadhaar or PAN or voter ID, right? These are some of the cards that the data should be entered properly as it is, especially the numbers that are there. Let's say PAN number or the Aadhaar number, right? Now, what happens over a period of time is the executives on the field, since they do a lot of, let's say they're doing a document collection of Aadhaar or any KYC document, right? Now, when they do a lot of them on the field, because of their tiredness or something, there's a possibility that they can do an error with that. And when it gets submitted and then there's a rejection happens, they have to again go back and get the right data updated. Right now, that again takes a lot of time. Again, let's see a scenario where there is a form that they have to fill which captures the Aadhaar, for example, right? So let's say I click on the plus icon here. This is a form that I've designed, right? What I have to do here is I have to capture the Aadhaar image, right? So let's say I capture the Aadhaar image here. Just going to change it. I capture the Aadhaar image here. Right now, this Aadhaar image is just going to be approved. Right, and then what I'm going to do is I have to manually enter the name here, right? I have to keep looking at the Aadhaar, and then I have to keep looking at the field here, and I have to enter the details over here, right? So I have to, if I make any mistake, now there's a possibility I make a mistake and it goes more than that, right? And then I have to submit the form here. But with OCR capability, we eliminate this, right? Let's see how that looks like. I have another form which I've created, which has the OCR fields enabled, which is capture documents with OCR. I click on this. There's a plus icon at the bottom, so I click on the plus icon here. If you see, it says click Aadhaar. I click on this. Now it changes to a read mode where it starts reading this particular card here, right? So I just have to click on read, right, at the bottom. And if you see, the fields at the bottom gets automatically populated with a 99% accuracy. Every spelling and every number is correct based on the Aadhaar I've just clicked. Right, it's the spelling of Mohamed Hassan and the Aadhaar number. If you see, the spaces in between that is also captured so that it differentiates the 4 digits. Right, and all I have to do is click on save. Now, if I'm entering the details manually, it could take 5-10 minutes for me to enter details depending on the name of the person and the numbers there's and other details. It's not just the name and the number. You can also have the date of birth that is there available and the address as well. You can have it populated. Now, when it comes to addresses and all of that, you have to take a lot of time for you to enter the data manually. But with OCR read, just one read and the data gets populated. Therefore.
Great. So when you scan, it basically takes a copy of the other document as well?
It captures it as an image as proof, but you can also restrict those as a flexibility that is available.
And when this information is captured, it is captured on the, it's not captured on the device, it's captured on the platform, it's on a cloud somewhere.
Exactly. So once you're capturing the images, it does not save in the gallery. So we restrict that, right? Because these are some of the sensitive documents that is there. It only sends the data to the cloud, and the image gets erased from the mobile application.
So what else can the OCR read?
So we have currently with Aadhaar, we have PAN card, and we have voter ID as well. We are also working on having different, ID cards and standard government forms to be read as well.
So anybody, who is basically collecting these KYC documents, especially BFSI, NBFC, wherein, you are basically collecting this information for, a lot of verification that you do in terms of legal checks and credit checks. This is a great product, I presume. If you're also doing KYC, I mean, if you're a business and you are onboarding, some partners, retailers, distributors onto your into your business, and then the normal process is that you ask them to email it to you or have somebody collect it, and this data lies in different places. So with the platform today, you can just scan it, and then it is available to you on the platform.
Absolutely.
Right. Great. So fantastic. So so you can see the application of this particular feature in multiple businesses as well, right? So wherein you need to capture this information. I think these are that's a a great feature. Now, like I was asking you initially, and I think there was a question as well. Can the mobile app integrate with other cross application, platform applications, right? This is from Chittaranjan Kabilan, who's asked us this question. And then, incidentally, the next feature that I also wanted to talk about was regarding integrations, right? So, what's the integration story? While the platform can do a lot of things today, customers have a lot of applications in the backend that's already running their business, and I understand we are trying to digitize one, the part that is manual today or the part that is semi-manual. But end of the day, all this information that we capture needs to go talk to different applications as well, right? So is it possible for us to integrate? How easy or difficult is it? And, with whom have we integrated so far?
Right. So integrations is the way forward, right? Because what happens is integration helps two different systems to talk to each other, right? Now, why do you want to do a same job on a day-to-day basis, right? Why don't you want your system to do that job on a day-to-day basis, which saves your efforts for the day, and you can look into other processes to improve your productivity, right? Now, integration to build on effort is as easy as just creating a process and giving the data to the third-party system to post the data, right? Now, what happens is in most of the MPFC domains, right, there is always one LMS system, loan management system, always available with them, which tracks the collections, the settlements, the deposits that has to happen, and all of that, right? But the problem over there is where they are not able to track it on the field as to how many collections have happened, even though these are being scheduled, right? Now, this is where the integration comes into the picture, where effort can give their endpoint URLs to the third-party system. All they have to do is get it configured, and as and when that schedule happens, the work gets created automatically on effort, which gets again assigned to the executive to perform their activity on the field, right? Now, let's see how easy it is to do that. I go to the app builder here. I've already created a process which is a collections process, right? Let's say there is a collection process that one of the NBFC customers says, I have a scheduling happening on my LMS system, but I want it to be created and assigned to a collector on the field, and he should go and do the collections on the field, right? Now he tells me that these are some of the parameters that I will be sending. It could be like it could be the customer name, the name of the collector to whom it has to be assigned to, and then he tells me what is the customer ID and what is the EMI collection date and all of these details, right? Now, once this process is configured on effort, all I have to do is, as an admin, I simply scroll down, right? And there is something called as generate JSON sample. I click on this. This is the endpoint URL that we will be providing to the third-party system to call our APIs, and this is the JSON template that we will be providing to the third-party system or the LMS system to enter the data and send it across. Right, for the LMS system, they only have to run a query for having these schedules being sent on time. Right now, once all I have to do is I have a Postman. Postman is a simulation to show how a third-party system posts the data. Right, if you look here, all we have to do is the endpoint URL that we have given is available here. We will also give you a username so that the LMS system knows to which company or to which product this data is being sent to. So you can actually define all the navigation parts as well. If you see at the bottom, there is a JSON format that we just copied from here, right? And I've pasted it here. All the LMS will be doing is entering these details. What is the external? Now, this external ID always remains unique, right? This always remains the same. All they have to enter is what is the customer name, the collector name to whom it has to be assigned for, and what is the date and time this collection has to happen. Right now, once this is done, all the LMS has to do is post. Like when I click send there, it automatically posts the data to us. Right? What happens is it says that success. Now, when I go back to the web app here, right, where I can monitor my processes, it says that there is one collection process now created. I click on this and it shows me the same details that is available in that. So if you see here, the customer name, Pramod Gumte, the collector name, Sagar, the customer ID, the customer location. If you see the EMI collection schedule, date and time, if you see it's 8th of August, 9 a.m., right? If you see here, it's the same 8th of August, 9 a.m. So similarly, rather than having a person upload an Excel file to create this, or to remember as to when these collections have to happen, gets eliminated here. The system takes care of everything. The LMS posts the data automatically. It gets created on the system and it gets allocated to the executive to start working on the product, on their particular activities. It's that seamless. All you have to do is, so as soon as the process is ready, right, you just have to share the template with them and the endpoint URL. That's it. The job is done. They only have to just get that coded or configured in their LMS system, and the data gets posted here automatically.
Fantastic. So, what kind of integrations have we done for various kinds of customers till today?
Yeah. So the customers, so we have done integrations with SAP. So we have done integrations with ERP systems. We have done integration with HRMS systems as well. Let's say, there's Great HR. There is, a Darwin box that we have that integration with. We have done integration with SAP. One of our customer uses it so we have few of our customers who actually use SAP, right? We have done integration with accounting softwares like Focus, like Xero, which is based out of Australia. Right, so these are some of the integrations that we have done, and all of these work seamlessly. Even now, as we speak, the integrations are active.
So basically, what you're saying is that the platform can integrate with any kind of application that a customer might bring. So it can be a standard application that's available in the market, or it could be something that a customer has homegrown himself, to run his business effectively, and then via open APIs. We will be able to do this integration seamlessly to ensure that data flows from our platform onto their system and from their system back onto the platform.
Absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. I think that gives a lot of flexibility, and that also answers a lot of questions for a lot of customers today, because they're really worried in terms of, okay, I've taken a platform, there is, data that you're basically capturing, but then it should not operate in silos, right? So it becomes a huge challenge. Now, when we're talking about data, let's park this integration aside, and let's say, what do we do about customers who probably are not integrating with any other system, but this is a standalone system that they want to use, and they like to get a view of the data that they have captured, or they like to get a report of what they have done. How can we help such customers?
Perfect. So if you remember, Joseph, when I did the login, right? So let me just do a login again here. So if you see here, I initially mentioned there are 4 different cards that's available, right? So there is an invite employee, web app, app builder, and there's something called as report studio, right? Now, what report studio does is any data that is being captured on platform, you will have an access to create a report for that. Right now, no matter where it is captured on the platform, it could be in different forms. In any, in a process, there could be around 20, 30 process steps. Right now, you would want to have data, a few points from one particular step, and few points, few columns from another step, and similarly for approximately 20 steps, you would need different data to be captured, which creates a report that gives you some visibility. Right, so it's as quick as that. You can do it over here. All I have to do is I click on Report Studio here. Right, I have different forms available, reports that I can create. That's form reports, work reports, activity reports, and all of these details. Right now, if I click on work report, let's take an example of a work report. If you see, there's no data available on the right hand side. It says design a new report. I click on design a new report. I can name the report. Right, so let's say RSA technician accept report. Right, so I want to see after accepted what are the data that is being captured. Right, what are they actually doing about it? It says that it's a work report. It's basically a process. I select roadside assistance here. If you see on the right hand side, right, initially we were filling the details like vehicle registration number, customer name, and all of that details. Right, all of those are available for me here. I simply have to enable the check boxes so that this gets part of my report here. Now, also, there are different steps that happen in this entire roadside assistance. All I have to do is I click on this. I can add all of these steps over here, right? I can simply select all of these steps that are available. Now, what I'll do is I'll simply scroll down on the right-hand side, and I see for each step that is there, right? There is something that is being captured for each step. I can again go and select. I can select out for service, who has performed it, at what time he has performed. When they have reached, who has performed it, at what time they have performed. Once they have resolved, what was the problem description, what was the problem key, problem category, what was the odometer reading, charges taken, visited on, as well, right? These are some of the details that as a technician, he will be capturing it on the mobile device. Now, let's say this is, now if you see here, it is being captured from different forms. So there is one that is captured when the ticket is being lodged, and then it is being captured when the technician is out for service. Then there are some data that has been captured when the technician has reached, and then there is some data that is being captured when the technician has resolved the technician the service, right? So all of these are being captured in different forms, but you can have it enabled and have it viewed in one report. Or once I know that, okay, these are the details that I would want to see in a report, I scroll down, I simply click on save as report here. Right, that's all. The report is now ready for me. It asks me to view the report from here itself. All I have to do is click on this button here. On the left hand side, I can see, okay, these are, I have to click on this, and then it asks me to select the employees here. I simply select this particular, the manager. It automatically selects the employees at the bottom. I scroll down. I have an option where I can pull it out in an HTML or in an XLS or an XLSX. What HTML does is it loads in a new tab, right? If you see over here, the last one that was done by Hamdan technician, right? It shows the entire time over here, the performed time, performed by, what was the problem description, the problem key, the engine problem, and all of those details. Now, all of these details are being captured from different forms, from different steps, but it is visible to you in one report as a consolidated view, right? A similar thing can also be pulled out for you in an XLS as well. So you simply click on XLSX and you simply download the report. Just moving this away, click on save, and I click on the Excel file here. Portrays the same data, and you can have it stored locally as well, right? So if you see, all the data is available for you here. It's as simple as that.
So all this information is coming from the forms that were created.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. Okay. Now, if there is besides what we've captured, right? If there is a specific method in which, or if there is a specific way in which the form needs to come in, can that also be done?
Can you repeat that question again, Joseph?
If there is a customer who needs a report in a specific format, right? Not in what, I mean, what you showed me is, I'm presuming, is standard, right? Based on the configurations we have done. So if a customer is looking for report in a specific format. Is that also possible?
Absolutely. We have a lot of customers now. Whatever the product provides is a standard templates, right? Reports or dashboards, anything of that sort, which can be used by any customer for any of their processes. Right now, every customer will have their set of vision as to how these reports should look like, which would give them their own insights to take decisions accordingly, right? And those reports can be customized specifically for them, which will be available for them for them to pull out these reports.
Fantastic. So I think those were great features I know that the product has a lot more features, and then we will keep doing this on a regular basis, where we evangelize about the product more and more to our customers. But great features, great explanation, Hassan. Thank you so much for that detailed explanation. I will open the floor for any questions. If there are any questions, please feel free to reach us right away. Chitrajan, I hope the question around integration was answered. For the others on the call, if you would like to ask us any questions, we will be here for a couple of minutes to answer the question. You could always reach us at sales@scores.in, and we'll be happy to help you. So I'm just going to keep the discussion open for a couple of minutes if some of you would like to ask any questions. Okay, I presume there are. I think there is some. Yeah, can the mobile app integrate with other cross-platform applications? Yes, we can. That is, I know it was a question that came in. So I guess we've answered that question. Yes, it can integrate with other cross-platform applications as well via open APIs, as Hassan explained and has shown us in the fourth feature that we spoke about in terms of integrating with other systems or other applications. Yes, we can do that. Great. So I presume there are no further questions. If there are any, like I said, please feel free to reach us at sales@scores.in. We will be happy to take more questions. We'll be happy to have a discussion, give you a further overview of the product. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you, Hassan, for taking us through the 5 features that we spoke about. Thanks to everybody who's taken time to join this webinar. We will have a video of this reach out to you pretty soon. Thank you once again, and see you soon.
Thanks, Joseph. Thank you, everyone.